Beep, beep, beep. Welcome to the Court of the Digester. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. Please do subscribe, become a warrior teacher, buy me a coffee, usual stuff, all right? Let's talk about the BBC. Let's talk about the BBC, because there is the most wonderfully excoriating article in the Telegraph, one of the Torygraph, if you want to call it that, about these wibblers over at the BBC and what's been happening with their viewing stuff for us. Bearing in mind, we pay for it. Okay, so without further ado, let's dig in to the BBC feeds viewers a diet of woke bias in breach of its own impartiality rules, campaigners say. The review of drama and news output has exposed prejudice and a preoccupation with slave trade, it is claimed. Right? This is written by Gordon Rayner, the associate editor over at the Telegraph on the 27th of December. The BBC has been accused of feeding viewers a steady diet of woke bias, as research suggests the broadcaster has failed to uphold standards in its own impartiality plan. A survey of the corporation's news and drama output has exposed bias. You think? Have you not been looking at Twitter? As exposed bias in coverage of debates over race and gender, campaigners say, while the BBC News website has averaged more than one article per week on the slave trade. Oh, God! The BBC needs an enema! In recent days, the BBC has come under fire for adding scenes to the Agatha Christie thriller Murder is Easy to make it an allegory for colonialism. Who's that woman that used to turn up at people's houses and someone would die? It was on American television. Tall woman. Oh, God, what was her name? She used to sang that song, didn't she, in Bed Knobs and Broomsticks? Traguna, McCoides, decorum, sanctity, substitutionary locomotion. Angela someone. And she used to play this woman called Jessica Fletcher. She was very tall, this broad. What was her name? Angela Lansbury. I love her. She was great in The Mirror Cracked. Yeah, bit of Angela. Anyway, she used to play this woman, didn't she? Called Jessica Fletcher, who was a Jonah, right? If she turned up at your house for lunch, the vicar would die if he lived next door. You know? Quick, Jessica Fletcher's coming, hide your relatives. Because wherever she went, somebody died. It was called Murder, She Wrote, I think. It was a Murder, She Did, I reckon. She was the one that did them all. Bloody liar, right? So, Jessica Fletcher, right, imagine that she turns up to solve the crime, and it's an allegory for colonialism, is the answer to the crime. And Jessica, who did it? The colonialists. Lunatics. Right. Meanwhile, new episodes of Doctor Who, which featured a transgender character, yep, in essence, a 21-year-old bloke pretending to be a 15-year-old girl. A transgender character implied that the Doctor is gay. The Doctor's now gay, by the way. Have you not seen him doing the skirt goes spinny? He's a handsome chap, isn't he, Judy? Judy Catois. Ooh, I duty is Judy. He's a very handsome man. Have you seen him? And Russell T Davies had him prancing around his underpants in his tighty whities, so he could bend down in the TARDIS, and it's all so obvious. It's like he's in love with him, isn't it? It's like, you know, he's just pervert on him, but he is a handsome bloke. Anyway, it also discussed whether an alien should have gendered pronouns. They got Miriam Margolyes to play the alien, didn't they? It says there's been a turn-off for some fans. I understand that the ratings have dropped considerably. I've stopped watching a long time ago, so once Jodie Whittaker took over, I was done. This comes bear in mind, they're going back a bit now. 2 years after BBC Director General Tim Davie launched a 10-point plan to ensure impartiality. Here, Tim, I don't think your plan's working. Can we review this plan? It's been 2 years. Shh. We launched this 10-point plan. Mr. Davie said viewers expected the highest standards of impartiality, accuracy and trust. Accuracy. This 21-year-old bloke's a 15-year-old girl. Oh, and by the way, Agatha Christie, you know, there was loads of colonialism in that, wasn't there? Yep. the mirror cracked from what side to side. Oh, yeah. But a review of BBC output by the Campaign for Common Sense suggests the corporation is failing to uphold those standards when it comes to its drama and news output. It's just so gentle. It's also middle class and gentle, isn't it? We need some working class folks, don't we? Oi, you! Stop screwing about. The research exposed a preoccupation by the BBC News about Britain's links to the transatlantic slave trade, with articles about the subject appearing online at a rate of more than one a week in 2023. What are they doing? That's critical race theory. That's critical race theory. That's another one of the heads of the Hydra, all right? One of the most dangerous ones as well. As of September, the BBC News website had featured 55 separate stories about slavery, ranging from how a flood led family to discover slavery link, and 2, Jamaicans call for Gladstone slavery reparations. Right? It's just all the usual critical social justice, anti-racist crap, right? But they're pushing it all the time. They've been doing this for a while. They've been hiring people based on skin colour. It's just extraordinary. They're nuts. In January, long-running soap opera Waterloo Road, I didn't even know that was still running, featured a plot involving students in open revolt over their school's links to the transatlantic slave trade. What for? Nutters. There's over 40 million people in slavery today. Why don't they go and do something, these bloody kids? The episode opens with the girl scrawling the word racist across a plaque of her school's 19th century founder. Students are later depicted holding banners saying students against slavery and throwing red paint to symbolise the blood of slaves. This is the stuff of kids' playgrounds, isn't it? It really is. And it literally is in that programme, which I think is about schools, isn't it? Isn't it about schools? It's about kids, isn't it? Except all the kids look like they're 23 and need a shave. And the women are like bruisers. Always these ridiculous programmes are always the same, isn't it? The only one that ever did it right was Granger. Prove me wrong, right? So, okay. So this is critical race theory being pushed by the BBC and gender identity ideology by default queer theory. There's your triptych. That's the big three. And you can add in environmentalism as well, but that's the big three, right? There's your big three critical studies, big three. That's the ones that are causing the problem. The BBC came under criticism the same month for referring to the explorer Sir Francis Drake as a 16th century slave trader. BBC London News was forced to amend its online article after and delete a tweet with a description after a backlash. The research also revealed how contested gender issues also featured in BBC News and drama, with what the campaign described as a woke worldview. I like that. The WWV. What's that? A woke worldview. In June, Casualty came under fire for promoting top surgery pre-Watershed. The episode featured a character discussing top surgery and mastectomy to remove breast tissue. An unnecessary mastectomy, by the way. In February, BBC Radio 4's PM programme was forced to apologise for having 2 transgender activists who brand out J.K. Rowling transphobic without any opposing views. Baroness Morgan, the former Culture Secretary, told The Telegraph, given its important role in covering issues affecting all of us, the BBC always needs to remain vigilant against being captured by fringe interests. It's wonderful, isn't it? Against, but remain vigilant. They don't have to remain... Baroness Morgan? Hello? How do you call a baroness? Ma'am? Milady? Milord? No, milord. Lady? Wait. Your Highness. Holiness? That's the Pope, innit? The BBC are gone. They are done. They are completely captured by woke. It's not a matter of being aware of it. They're completely captured. This is 2 years after the guy said, hang on, impartiality is important. And they're still pushing out their woke agenda. And most of it is utter shite. Right? If you don't want to see woke, right, I suggest you go and watch Saltburn. Saltburn is like 2023's version of The Talented Mr. Ripley, right? Which was a pretty tough film when that came out. And if you want to go back even further, it's all about Eve with a twist. Go and have a look. Anyway, the BBC's so woke, it's useless. It needs somebody to go in and sort it out. Wouldn't you love to have that power? Right, you, and you are fired. Security! Can you imagine? We could empty out hundreds of them, and it wouldn't have a moment's impact on their output. Not a moment. Save us a fortune in licence fees. Get them out. I'll see you later. Ta-da!